Metro Police need your help finding these suspects. Police say they are wanted in connection with a rash of burglaries in northwest Las Vegas. Fox 5's Mike Allen spoke with one alleged victim. He joins us now live from Metro's Northwest Command Station. Mike?
Yeah, John, not too far from here on the northwest side of Las Vegas, a woman who has lived here in this area for 30 years has recently come home on this past Sunday to find her home had been completely ransacked. Rebecca Wood witnessed the tail end of this burglary in her home as she returned from an evening out with family.
When I pulled into my driveway, they were still in my house.
Not knowing that yet, though, only having seen a darkly tinted vehicle pull away from her home, she went inside and looked around, noticing things were out of place.
I turned my head and the sliding glass door is wide open.
That's when she realized her home was broken into.
My father and mother both passed, and my husband's father passed, and they got all the heirloom jewelry.
The items lost were not the worst part about the ordeal, though.
You lose that confidence in your safe space because now it doesn't feel safe anymore.
But ultimately, Wood says she's taking a positive view of this break-in after thinking about what might have happened if she had gotten home earlier, considering the security video shows the burglars were armed.
I have what-ifed myself to death. And then I got to the point where I'm just like, you know, I'm going to quit what-ifing and I'm just going to go, I'm going to be thankful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful no one was home. I'm grateful I didn't bring my grandkids home.
Now, in the aftermath of the burglary of their home, Wood and her husband have installed a completely new home security system, complete with new video, cameras, also some audio, and new alarm systems as well. Reporting live tonight, Mike Allen, Fox 5 News, local Las Vegas.
So if you know who those suspects are, call Metro Police or Crime Stoppers to remain anonymous.